Patriots fan, take a deep breath, because today brings plot twists, a dash of mystery, and decisions hitting the heart of the season. A key piece just left the board. A young reinforcement arrived with real swagger, and a veteran with direct ties to the new defensive philosophy could be walking into Foxborough. There's also a recent draft pick taking an unexpected turn, and a versatile defender landing to plug a worrying gap. Astonished. You won't believe what we've got lined up. So get comfortable, hit that like button, and let's get right to it. Ready for the shakeup that could redefine Week 1? Time didn't speed up in Foxborough. It just feels like the season started 8 days early. After a locker room rattling cut with the sudden exit of Jabril Peppers, the team injected young energy into the trenches with rookie Eric Gregory. But the question that won't go away hits exactly where games are decided. The pass rush. Did it improve? Enough to slam the door on third downs when everything tightens? The honest answer is still uncomfortable, and that's why one specific move could change the chessboard before Week 1 against the Raiders. Walk with me here, with Keon White sliding down the depth chart and several of the new additions yet to prove it when the games actually matter. Can you really push all your chips in on potential alone? Potential doesn't sack elite quarterbacks, production does. And production, my friends, comes with a name, a resume, and a direct connection to the way Terrell Williams wants this defense to play. Before saying the name, consider the tactical checklist. New England needs someone who understands multiple fronts, can play standing up or inside, reads protections, commands instant respect on the edge, and lets the staff vary pressure without leaving the second level exposed. That profile has a face: Zadarius Smith. On the market after stints with the Browns and Lions in 2024, he produced even with a divided snap share: 35 combined tackles, 9 for loss, 17 quarterback hits, a pass defensed, and 9 sacks. That's not a flash in the pan. That's consistency across the year, the kind that forces offensive coordinators to keep the running back in protection and shorten the route tree. The bonus that matters in New England is his history with Terrell Williams, which shortens the adaptation curve. Instead of weeks spent decoding the defensive language, Smith would fit faster and unlock aggressive packages in September. There's room financially, and edge depth isn't a luxury. It's life insurance for a secondary that just lost one of its emotional leaders with Pepper's departure. Smith wouldn't arrive as a savior. He'd join an aggressive rotation with Matthew Judon drawing doubles, Josh Uche attacking from varied angles, and Christian Barmore collapsing the pocket inside. On third and long, the Patriots could present mug looks with linebackers in the A-gaps, run stunts with Barmore and Smith, and force the quarterback to declare the protection early, opening space to bluff from one side and attack from the other. In the red zone, a true finisher on the edge shrinks windows and turns risky throws into field goals. In game flow terms, more pressure means shorter drives, favorable time of possession, and an offense that can breathe. The fan reaction online already says it. If we're gambling, gamble on proven production, and we can't roll into 2025 praying for pressure. If the front office wants to send an ambitious message, this is the moment. And believe it or not, this wasn't even the day's most surprising twist. What comes next explains why Foxborough's phones didn't stop buzzing for a minute. Sometimes the decisions made behind closed doors say more about a team's direction than any play on the field. In New England, cutting Jabril Peppers is exactly that kind of shockwave. It's not just a name off the roster, it's a message that scrambles the logic of how this lineup is being built. The timing baffled everyone. He survived the initial cut down to 53, and then 3 days later, it was goodbye. It feels contradictory, but in that gray area lies the truth about the new regime's philosophy. Some fans floated a locker room issue, but there isn't recent history to support that. Others pointed to a slip in the hierarchy, similar to Kyle Duggar's situation, but even that feels odd because Peppers looked untouchable. Worse, he barely took the field in the preseason, a classic sign he was safe. So why move on? The most plausible explanation blends football and business. There's no immediate dead cap this year, yet New England still eats a hefty bill, more than $4 million in 2025 and another $3 million to 2026. In other words, it wasn't a tidy financial exit. The big question gnawing at the fan base is if they wanted out, why not trade him? Recent chatter says they tried. ESPN's Mike Reese, who has excellent league sources, reported that Pepper's name came up in trade conversations right up against the deadline. Some executives confirmed he was on radars, but nothing materialized. Maybe the offers weren't good enough. Maybe the front office held firm on price. Either way, instead of a draft pick or a player in return, they walked away with nothing. For a new leadership group preaching roster value and asset management, that's hard to swallow. From the stands, it feels like waste. We're talking about one of the most consistent safeties in the league over the past 2 seasons, crucial in hybrid coverages and a quiet on-field leader. No wonder the fan narrative is simmering with frustration. How do you cut Peppers without squeezing out at least a 6th rounder, and we're donating talent while rivals fortify their defense? The strategic hole is even more glaring because Peppers won't stay on the market for long. He'll sign somewhere and start immediately, which could turn this misstep into a season-long ghost haunting Foxborough. If the new regime wanted to signal a sharp break with the past, message received. But was this the right player to use as the emblem of that shift? And the detail coming up next only deepens the feeling that leadership is willing to tinker with everything, even what seemed cemented. The NFL can wreck a dream in a matter of hours, and Javon Baker is living proof. Drafted by the Patriots, he looked set on the final roster, until less than 24 hours later, the script flipped. He was cut alongside Kendrick Bourne to make room for quarterback Tommy DeVito and defensive back Charles Woods. The most stinging detail: New England's plan was to bring him back on the practice squad, but the kid had other ideas, or rather other offers. The choice was shrewd: the Philadelphia Eagles. And it's not just a jersey change, it's a statement that young talent won't wait forever for an opportunity. Baker's rookie numbers were modest, 1 catch in 11 games for 12 yards, but he showed growth as a gunner on special teams and earned praise for focus and discipline. His energy popped in practice. The problem? The receiver room became a gauntlet. Stephon Diggs, Demario Douglas, Kayshon Boutte, Mac Hollins, Kyle Williams, and Efton Kizm III slammed the door. And let's be real, if you follow New England closely, you know wideouts here earn snaps with pristine routes, hard-nosed blocking, and ruthless efficiency on limited chances. Baker pushed, but it wasn't enough. Deep down, what irks fans is losing a 4th-round pick to another contender for nothing. It's another young piece drifting away, a familiar pattern from recent seasons. The Eagles, meanwhile, are specialists at reclaiming this archetype: athletic, dedicated, inexpensive, and loaded with developmental upside for the scout team. In Philly, he won't face immediate pressure to leapfrog Diggs or Douglas. He can grow inside an explosive offense surrounded by stars who tilt coverages and open grass. For New England, the impact is twofold. Depth thins at a position full of names, but still short on proven consistency, and the narrative hardens that the new leadership favors veterans and bold churn over patience with youth. For Patriots Nation, the aftertaste is bitter. Is it worth letting a mid-round rookie walk to keep DeVito, and wouldn't continuity beat yet another reset? Those questions echo because, while the staff tries to build culture, the sense of asset leakage keeps growing. Baker could become another uncomfortable example if he blossoms in Philadelphia, reminding everyone that patience sometimes outperforms constant roster roulette. And the story only gets spicier because the next new face in Foxborough also arrived via an unexpected cut, only this time from the opposite coast. Charles Woods might be the perfect snapshot of how the NFL can flip a player's life in a single day. Picture it: one afternoon he's in Los Angeles planning to re-sign to the practice squad of the team that first took a chance on him as an undrafted rookie. The next, he's packing for a cross-country move after the Patriots put in a waiver claim. For Patriots Nation, it's an injection of youth and urgency into a group that took a gut punch in the preseason. The read is straightforward: Woods isn't just another body in the secondary. He's here to address the void left by Marcellus Dial's brutal training camp injury. With the Rams in 2024, he lined up primarily inside, north of 60% of his snaps in the slot, and he brought real juice on special teams, logging roughly 54.9% of their kicking game snaps. For Mike Vrabel and the current staff, who want special teams to remain a living, breathing part of this team's DNA that matters, because it gives immediate flexibility without disrupting chemistry, Woods brings versatility and attitude. In big nickel looks, he flashed as a blitzer against screens. He triggers fast in short area coverage. He was efficient, allowing just 4 catches on 9 preseason targets. He's not a marquee name, but he fits the do the dirty work, help in multiple phases, play fast mentality. He's the type who earns his way on 3rd down first in the kicking game, and then becomes a trustworthy defensive option when the rotation tightens and in-game adjustments demand answers. Tactically, his arrival lets New England vary sub-packages without losing bite. On 3rd and short, he can press in the slot, threaten the B-gap blitz, and still recover to cap the option route window. On 3rd and long, his presence licenses simulated pressure, mugging the A-gaps with linebackers, while he hovers at the edge of the box, forcing the quarterback to declare protection and then dropping into a robber zone after the snap. The side effects are immediate: QB hesitation, a sped-up internal clock, and smaller throwing lanes in the middle, right where offenses love to exploit spacing and picks. With Marcus Jones needing a dependable partner inside and Dial's loss casting a shadow, Woods gives the staff the option to modulate snaps, protect the secondary versus 11 personnel, and keep the defense's physical identity without sacrificing speed. If it clicks, the line can get more creative with stunts and simulated pressure, confident the slot won't be left exposed when the pass rush arrives a half beat late. Of course, there are fair questions. Does his athletic profile support heavy volume right away? Can he hold up against offenses that live in bunch and rub concepts? The answer is baked into the assignment. New England isn't asking for stardom, just clean execution, while the defense establishes its identity under Vrabel. If Woods reproduces the fundamentals he showed in Los Angeles, proper leverage, secure tackling on the perimeter, and the courage to blitz on command, he changes the conversation. He's already said he felt welcomed in Foxborough, pointing to a receptive locker room and shared leadership. For a group that needs to turn recent turbulence into purpose, that's the right attitude, hunger, humility, and speed. In the end, the message is crystal clear: the Patriots will keep tweaking the roster until the last minute to stay competitive. And while we debate ceilings and projections, the field will tell us whether this waiver claim was merely opportunistic or a subtle turning point for the secondary. The season has barely started and it already feels like a whirlwind in Foxborough. Surprise cuts, veteran rumors, promising youngsters leaving, and new faces arriving out of nowhere, all of it creates a mosaic of uncertainty and anticipation that only raises Patriots Nation's adrenaline. What's obvious is that the new regime isn't afraid to take risks, even if it hurts to see familiar names go. But will these bold bets turn the team into a legitimate contender, or just a roster stuck in perpetual rebuild? I want your take. Do you trust this aggressive philosophy, or do you fear we're sacrificing steadiness for splash? If you're still with me, drop a like, subscribe, and let's live every second of this journey together.